Her 2-year-old daughter, who wore her first KKK robe at only 1 month old. Aww. We're going to meet Wendy and her little... This is not going to be an easy show for me to do. The last thing that I ever want to do on television is give a 1-hour platform to a bunch of racists. We thought it was important to do because all of us need to keep our fingers on the pulse of racism. It seems every time we pick up a newspaper, we're reading another story about racism, intolerance, some kind of ism. Whether it's black churches being bombed or Mexican immigrants being beaten up coming over the border, or even Marlon Brando making that statement that upset the Jewish community. It just seems that all of us, in some way or another, are touched by racism and intolerance.
You're absolutely right about that. You sound country as hell, too. Where you from? She's probably from North Carolina.
Yeah, I can remember being 4 years old, growing up in North Carolina. And I remember I was in kindergarten. And we were real excited because we were going to go to this country club and go for a big picnic. It wasn't until I was 16 years old that my mother and father sat me down and explained to me why little Rolonda couldn't go to that picnic. You see, I had come home one day with a note pinned to my little jacket. And it said, yes, we're having a picnic, but Rolonda can't go because they don't allow blacks in this country club.
Oh, Lord.
I pray that no other children have to go through that. That's why I'm going to do the show today. It's Johnny Lee Clary. And Johnny, a lot of people are going to freak out when they understand that you are the former imperial wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. Now, Johnny claims that he's a changed man now. He's not a racist anymore. And Johnny, you say that you're going to deal with some of these kids out there, some of these kids who are so racist, so bigot. You can change people? Can you really do that?
Well, I can't change them, but the Lord Jesus Christ can change them. You know, hatred stirs up dissension, but love covers all wrongs. Hatred is a learned response. You're not born with hate. You have to be taught it. And the best way to overcome an enemy is to make a friend out of him.
You better preach that, bro. You better preach, bro. Preach, man. He's calling out the Lord to tell him all of our sins because God is able. Amen. Collection plate right there. Everybody put $3 in the collection plate.
Our first guests say they don't care what Johnny said backstage. They say they're never going to change their racist ways of thinking. These young people say that blacks, Mexicans, Jews, anybody who is not white should get out of America and make this a white homeland. I want you to meet 22-year-old Jeff. He's a leader of a group called the National Socialist Movement. He is joined by 17-year-old group member Bob. Guys, I gotta tell you, I don't really want to meet folks like you. But I'm going to take this chance to meet you just so I understand where you're coming from.
Trust me, they don't want to meet you either. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Hey, I'm a racist white person. Oh, I got an opportunity to go to a black show? Hell yeah, I want to go to a black show. They going to have some watermelon? Oh, Lord, I hope they have some watermelon. Ah, they are so amazing. I love them. They can cook. They can cook their ass off, I'll tell you that much. What time do you need me to be there? Okay, let me go put on my nicest KKK stuff. All right.
I have to admit, I look at you, you're so young. It breaks my heart to think that you might be filled with so much hatred. Why? How'd you get involved in a group like this?
Well, let me tell you, it's not hatred. It's love for our own people, love for our own race. You have all these other races, and they can have black pride, black power, Jew power, etc., etc. But anytime a white person is to stand up and say, you know, I'm proud of being white, you know, we're shot down and said, oh, he's a racist, this and that.
But Jeff, if I'm to stand up and say black power or I love my people too, I'm not saying kick out everybody else out of America.
I'm not saying necessarily that we need to kick everyone out of America. We need a white homeland. And no matter what happens, we're going to have that white homeland. Any means necessary.
Bob, does that mean kicking people who look like me out of a homeland that my ancestors and my relatives helped build?
Well, they all, we have our own, we want our own homeland. We just want a section of the country, and that's it. You know, you can have whatever else you want. You know, we just want a section.
We want a piece. They just want, listen, we already went to the table. We figured we could have, what, we want Mississippi. We want Alabama. What else we want? Texas? I don't know if we can get Texas. We want to see if we can get Texas. Can we get Texas? How about New York? We can't get no New York. We can't get New York. We're going to stick with the southern states, Mississippi, Alabama, We probably can't get Texas. Can we get some pieces of Florida? Yeah. So that's all we want. That's all we want. Y'all know every single group of individuals have their areas that they live in. You don't need to have your own little piece. But you need to have your own little piece. You can't be a colonizer and then say, okay, now get away. I don't want to see nobody no more.
Section where my house is, does that mean that you're going to kick me out of my own home?
There'll be white people in your section that'll have to come to our section. So we'll do whatever we have to.
We'll split the country up. It doesn't matter. You know, a lot of times people will say, oh, why don't you go back to Europe? Well, we can't go back to Europe. There's no, it's overrun. It's overrun, just like it is here. You look at your audience. We're filled with, you have a multiracial cesspool here in New York City. And just to get back on the Johnny Lee Clary subject, I want to say something about Johnny Lee. He's a racial traitor. He came into the movement a while back, and now he's basically saying that he doesn't believe in it anymore. Well, he probably never believed in it in the first place. He is a white racial traitor. He was, I don't know, he probably sold his race out for a bag of nickels.
Ooh, you a racial traitor, bruh. What you guys say about that? I don't care what kind of dragon you was in the KKK. You could have been a daggone double dragon, the black dragon, white dragon, the twisted rainbow dragon. We don't care, bruh. You sold out your race. You don't believe what we believe no more. We got some groupthink. Now you're no longer a part of it, and we don't like it. Huh? How much money you make? You owed us taxes, son.
Proud of this country. I am so proud to be an American. I love this country. I kiss the ground of this country. But it frightens me. It brings tears to my eyes to talk with people like we're talking to now. Bob, how old are you?
17.
17. And Bob is in disguise, by the way, not because he's embarrassed or ashamed of being a racist, but because he's a minor, and on television we have to cover his image. How in the world did you guys get involved in an organization that would make you so proudly display swastikas that mean death and destruction to so many people in the world?
It was not a choice. It was something that we had to do. This country's turning into a sewer. I don't like this country for what it is today. I can't say that I'm going to have a job as good as my parents and my grandparents had, and any other white person is pretty much in the same boat.
Why?
Because the country's being overrun by immigrants. We've got the mud flood coming across the border from Mexico.
And what's the mud flood? Mexicans? Is that what you call Mexican immigration, mud floods?
Yep.
Wow, that's different. This dude said that Mexicans are the mud flood. We got the mud flood coming over. My God, I never heard that before.
Have you ever met a Mexican person?
Sure. I live in a ghetto.
We have to deal with them every day.
Every day, all night long.
Get harassed, attacked, everywhere we go.
Bob, let me ask you, at 17 years old, what was the day that you decided, you know, I could join a whole bunch of other groups at 17 years old, but, you know, for me, I'm going to join a group that doesn't like anybody but white folks. What made you decide, Bob? What was it in your life that made you sign up?
When I was 14, I was going to middle school, and I started noticing all the Jews around me, the blacks around me, how they get the special privileges, and I just got sick and tired of it. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to do something for our race before it dies out. It's going to die out soon.
That brings up a very good question, the affirmative action thing. They say that affirmative action was made for the minorities to get special privileges, special jobs, and all this kind of stuff. All right, well, you look around in New York City. The white people are the vast minority here, as in our area of where we live in St. Paul. And why is there still affirmative action? It's a big joke. It's to spit on the white race. That's
so why don't you do something constructive like learning to vote and being part of a government movement to bring up another voice as opposed to hating people?
We're part of a government movement. We're for a new government, National Socialist government.
Not my government. Johnny Lee Clary, who's a former imperial wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, he says he's changed his ways, he's no longer a racist, and he believes he can take the two of you and turn your lives around, get rid of this racist attitude. Do you believe that he can do that?
Hell no.
No way.
Wait a minute, who's this man down here in the hood saying, heck no? You don't like him either. He said he was a traitor to the white race. Is that what you think too? Come on, stand up. What's your name?
William Nathan McKinney.
Mm-hmm. What's your name?
William Nathan McKinney.
Okay, and you represent what group?
Rebels Knights of the Ku Klux Klan.
The Ku Klux Klan.
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you don't believe that Jimmy could change somebody like you?
Hell no.
Mm-hmm. Are I guess you're proud to see young people like this.
Yes, ma'am, I sure am.
Why?
Because I was born in the white race, I'll die in the white race, and that's the way it is.
And I love you because you're just a good person, maybe, and it doesn't have anything to do with it. Back to me.
Because, I tell you, everybody should stick with their own kind. Black should stick with black. White should stick with white.
I can't tell you how many good friends I wouldn't have if I took your advice.
Yeah, but what you gonna do with them little nigglets running right here like
Oh,
O.J.
no. Now listen.
Oh, bro, I'm surprised somebody brother that's back there with that black turtleneck. I'm surprised he didn't stop flying so he can sky punch him in the neck. Since in one of them little bow. Hey man, it's a little tension, man.
Things I'm real proud of myself of is that no matter what you throw at me, I'm still gonna love you. There's nothing you can do to me to make me hate you. Nothing. I love you, sir. I love you, sir. And all I ask is that you respect people because we're in people's homes
I
now.
don't hate you.
Okay, but don't say words that would degrade the people I come from, okay?
The point is, I don't hate black.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, they should stay with their own kind.
Jimmy Lee, you listening back there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm listening.
What do you say to this man? You say you can change him.
Well, I'm not saying I could change this man here. I mean,
Look up there in the monitor.
you know, the youth of today will decide what kind of nation that we live in tomorrow. And I would hate that.
For a second. Well, I want to hear, Jimmy, what do you say to this guy?
Rolonda, I want these young people on the stage to take a look at this man sitting down there doing all the mouthing and see that's what their future can be like if they continue in this course that they're in.
Johnny, what do you say to these young folks here who don't believe, who call you a traitor, basically, to the white race?
Rolonda, they don't understand what I've been through, and but I'll tell you what, I've been where they've been, and if I was where they was at now, I would probably be saying the same thing. But these are not, see, Rolonda, these are not bad kids. These are misguided
One at a
kids.
time, sir. One at a time. I'll come let you give your position, but let me hear what Johnny's saying. What'd you say, Johnny?
Rolonda, these are not bad young men up there. These are misguided young men that's been misguided because the guys sitting down there on the front row, guys like that. And these kids could turn around. They could contribute to society because these two boys sitting on the stage, they're not dummies. They've got brains, and they could turn around and turn their lives around and do something positive for all races in America.
The only thing we're going to be doing is turning this country around, and people traitors like Johnny Lee Clary are going to get caught in the crossfire.
What do
Very
you say,
simple.
sir?
I'd just like to ask the gentleman, what do you hope to gain by having so much hatred towards people that you don't even know?
It's not hatred, like I clarified earlier in the show. We want a place for our own people. We love our race as you should love your race. There should be no problem with that, right?
You
Right.
keep saying your race, the white race. No, there is no pure race. Whether it's white, black, everybody is mixed with something.
No.
Somewhere down the road.
Why is this 20-year-old mother trying to teach her 2-year-old baby daughter how to be a racist?
Black power, we all bleed the same, okay? Yes, I am, and I'm proud to be gay, honey.
You're not white either because your hair is blonde and your eyes aren't blue, man. So why?
Let's hear what Gordon has to say.
You know, we're hearing all this stuff, you know, poor little innocent nigger. Well, I'm going to tell you something.
Now, wait a minute. We're in my studio, which is like my living room. And there are no H words, there are no N words, there's no disrespect for people here.
Rolonda straightened him out. She said, look, God dang it. And listen, that's that word again. Don't say that word in my daggone house. Security, come whoop his ass.
This is the voicemail that you might hear if you call. This is their message on their machine. Let's play that.
You have reached the National Socialist Movement. We will be judge, jury, and executioner. Your future and your children's future is on the line. It's time to enlist in the fight for a white homeland.
Do your parents agree with what you're doing?
I'm not going to talk about my parents. No, they don't agree with it.
They don't?
No.
I bet they're ashamed.
If a person should be ashamed of another person for being proud of their race, then there's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Bob, what do your parents say?
They're against it, but they let me do my own thing, you know. They understand what I'm doing, and they let me do it.
What I'd like to say, you know, is you know, you always single us out. All the talk shows always do this kind of stuff.
I'm not like all the talk shows, sir.
Let me finish. They make us look like haters and all this kind of stuff. When you got people from every race that are proud of their people, that want to stand up and do something about it, and that's all we're doing. And they, you know, you try to make us look bad. Say that everything.
I think you make yourself look bad. I'm not doing anything to make you look bad. I think that's on you, sir.
Before you kept referring to Johnny as a traitor, perhaps he just woke up. Maybe soon you'll do the same.
When I listened to your message, you said you would be the executionist. Well, my husband survived a group of executionists called Nazis. So I would suggest if you want to execute anybody, start with yourselves.
Wow.
Reporter on a teen national TV show called In the Mix, and I interview teens every day. I think what we're seeing here is two teens who are looking out to be loved, and I think that's a big problem in this country. We see, no, seriously, I think we're seeing gang activity because they're kids who are not being cared for.
If you believe that, what can we do for teenagers like that who you believe are so misguided by a lack of love?
Really, unfortunately, I don't see any hope for them.
Come on, sister, you got to see some hope for them. There's definitely some hope for them. They're young. They haven't learned anything yet. They haven't touched a lady. They don't know about love, true love. Clearly, whatever they're doing is they're going against the grain of their parents' teaching. Their parents aren't with what they're doing, but they're doing it anyway because, you know what I mean? And did they say anything about their fathers? They didn't say anything about their fathers. They said nothing about their fathers. So are they coming from a broken home themselves?
Hope for them. I think what we need to do, the reason why we have teen gangs and we have people like this is because they're young people who are not getting the care and the support in their homes that they need. So they find these organizations that tell them they're great and we love them.
You misunderstand. We are going to stomp out gang activity. We are going to stomp out drug users, abortion, all these terrible things that are destroying this country. We're going to stomp them out.
Come on.
I got a question. You said that you want to go where it's only your race and you want to actually kick everyone out of New York City because it's a sewer. Why won't you just go into the middle of the country where it is all your race and make it a lot easier for yourselves?
That's the plan. That's the plan.
Montana,
you know,
stop complaining about.
You can have New York City. New York City is beyond lost. It's gone. We want a white homeland. It doesn't matter where it is.
Well, like in the Declaration of Independence, it says that there's people with liberty and justice for all. If you want to kick people out of like where they're living, they have a right to be there. They have a right to think their own things. They have a right to go about their own business. Why do you think that you can just come in and just push them out?
Don't we have a right to live in a white, safe place?
You don't have a right to push them out.
Where we can walk down the street without getting mugged and shot by these savages and these gang members?
This dude has never been attacked or mugged by a minority ever in his life. He's living off of the trauma of someone else. Relax.
Comment for you. I'm black and I'm with a white girl, and you say you want to separate things like that? I wouldn't have this if it went your way.
That's right.
That's right. And this is what I have. This is what I live for.
If you wanna go live in your own country, away from us, and do your race mixing thing, whatever you want to do, that's fine by us. But we want a country of our own.
That he wants to live in a place where a white person can walk down the street, or he lives in a place where white people walk down the street and get mugged, get shot at by all these minorities. When he goes to a white neighborhood, that doesn't happen to him.
No, it doesn't.
Well,
no,
I think if you came to my white neighborhood dressed like that, it might happen 10 times as much as it happens in these minority neighborhoods. I just want to say another thing.
White people going to
I do respect that he wants this promised land of his own, because we all want our own promised land. But if you want a white promise,
are you Jewish or are you white?
What color is my skin?
No, I think no, you're Jewish, sure.
What color is my skin?
No, you're Jewish.
What color is my skin? Answer that question for me.
The devil, the seed of Cain. It says so in the Bible.
Okay, that's fine by you. But what color is my skin?
Green.
Oh, it's green. Okay, well then you need glasses or something, okay? Because I am white, okay? It's on my birth certificate. I'm also an angry, quote-unquote, white man. It hasn't been easy for me. I'm married. I have 2 kids. I've had more peaks and valleys in my life than the Rocky Mountains. But you know what? I don't wake up in the morning and say, God, because that person got the job instead of me, or because I got fired, or because of this, I'm going to pick up a gun or wear a swastika and provoke this type of insinuation that I'm going to liberate white people to this extreme. If you want to be white and you want to find this homeland of yourself, that's fine. But what you're indicating by just your outfit alone is, with the swastika, is you're not just looking to love the white people. You're looking to hate everyone around you, because that's what that swastika symbolizes. That's number one.
You don't even know us.
Right, that's number one. Number 2 is, I'm just curious to know.
You're judging me. You're prejudging me.
Because I do respect what you're saying in regards to, you want a white homeland. That's a beautiful thing, and I hope it happens for you, but not in the way that you're construing it.
At the age of 10, our next guest joined the Ku Klux Klan. Now she's all grown up. She's 20 years old. She's raising her 2-year-old daughter, who wore her first KKK robe at only 1 month old.
Aww.
We're going to meet Wendy and her little daughter, Ashlyn.
Look at the little KKK nugget. Oh, look at the little KKK marshmallow. You're the KKK up a KKK. I did up a KKK. What the hell?
Right. Well, one thing I'd like to start out saying is the gentleman in the black cap down here in the front row stood up before and said, I was born white and I want to die white. Well, I can guarantee you, sir, you will. Okay? I just want to let you know that, okay? Okay? Just want to let you know that you will, okay? And you know what? I was born a Jew and I'm going to die a Jew, and I'm proud of that too, okay? But a white Jew, not a green Jew. Excuse me, okay? Were you people maybe abused as children, or
See, no matter,
seriously?
whenever, listen.
No, so I'm being serious.
No, listen,
I grew up in a good middle-class family.
Let me answer the question. Every time somebody comes up with an idea that's a little bit frightening, especially to the Jewish people, you have to be kooks, crazies, wackos, or child abusers. You're the child abusers and the child molesters, and you know it.
I'm just asking a simple question. I wanted an answer. If it was no, then I can accept that.
No, of course not.
Of course not.
If, let's say, you were in an accident that required a blood transfusion that saved your life, and
We wouldn't take none of your blood. That's
I'd rather die than take it.
and you found out afterwards, and
we take this off.
One at a time, please.
And let's say you found out afterwards that the 5 pints that you received that saved your life, one came from someone who's Chinese, someone who's Spanish, someone who's black, whatever the religions. What would happen to you? Would you be now allowed, with that blood of all this interracially blood flowing through your veins, would you be allowed in your society that's all fenced in? Would you be allowed back into that group?
Because remember, there is a law that says that 135th rule, 1 drop of black blood, you're black.
I'd take my life. I couldn't live with the shame.
Thank you. But let's answer that question, because when it comes down to life and death, baby, the only thing you better see if you need blood is red. And I want to ask you, if you found out that blood, and that's a great question, came from someone other than a non-white person, would you sit up there in your dying bed in an operating room and say, oh, no?
Yeah, of course.
Wendy's there shaking her.
Hey, he said no. Let him say no. He said he would die. He would die before he take your black blood. I'm not putting your black blood inside of me. Huh? Then I won't be white. I'm walking around a white man with black blood in me. What I look like now? I'm a race traitor. I'm not. He gonna feel like a race traitor because he got black blood. These people are imbeciles, man. Then they got their own show. This is ridiculous.
You don't like people who aren't white, do you? No. Randy was raised that way, you say. Your grandpa, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Come on, stand up. That's your grandbaby there, right?
Proud.
1 month old, wore a KKK outfit.
White and proud.
White
1
and
month
proud.
old. 1 month old.
And you're proud of that?
Yes, ma'am. Very proud.
You're very proud. You're going
White
to
and
shape that
proud.
little girl to hate when she's so full of love, I bet she is.
No.
Can't answer it, can you? Wendy, why don't you answer for Grandpa?
That was a good question. You're gonna teach that baby to be full of hate, and she's so much full of love right now as a baby. But you're gonna do what you gotta do to make sure she can hate. I don't get people sometimes, man. It's just like this is another form of the circus, is what it is. That's what it is. It's another form of the circus. It's just the dangerous one. It's the dangerous, ridiculous form where people just give their lives to something just to be a part of it and say, yeah, I'm around my people. I'm around my people. I can say it. Can I say the words? I can say the words against the other races. Yes. And I can feel good about it.
I wouldn't take anybody, no, non-white blood, that would be the same as mixed.
So you would die?
Yes, I would. Just like Jehovah's Witness won't have a blood transfusion. Same.
All blood is non-white. All blood is non-white. All blood is red, a.k.a. burgundy. Huh? Non-white blood. Show me some white blood.
I guess it gave you a great deal of pride to dress up your little daughter at 1 month old in a KKK hood and robe.
Yes.
Look at me straight in the eye, and I want you to talk to me. Really. Really. And you know something? And I respect whatever you say. Don't call me any words, any names. But I want you to look me in the eye and tell me, Rolonda, this is what I'd like to see happen to people who look like you.
Not necessarily I'd like anything to happen to you. I want to be separate. I want to be my own kind and improve my own race.
What will that mean for me?
Just like many black people have black power, Malcolm X. They want to improve their race and we want to improve ours.
Okay, I have no problem with that. Gung-ho, do that. But what does that mean for me?
Well, that means that we don't want to be around black people. Okay. We don't want to be around anybody that's non-white.
So does that mean that you'll move and go do your thing wherever you can and leave me alone?
If
or does
the
that mean
government
that
split the United States in half and said this side whites, this side the other half, I'd be more than glad.
Well, I'm going to fight every day to make sure my government doesn't do that. But in the meantime, I just wonder what that means for me and people who look like me and people who don't look like me who don't happen to be white. Is there some kind of movement, folks, that y'all want to do any type of harm? Do you want to do anything? I mean, suppose the place that you want to move to has people who are different than you. You going to push them all out of their home?
Not if it was split in half. We want to be to ourselves like we live now. We live in an all-white county. We're to ourselves. There's low crime in our county. It's not like up here, nobody gets murdered in our county. If
people get murdered every place, ma'am. A culture she joined at the age of 13. But Catherine says she's not like most skinheads you hear about. What makes you different, Catherine?
Well, I'm a traditional skinhead. Skinhead really started out in Britain in the 1960s, in the late 60s. And it wasn't co-opted by the white power people until the mid to late 70s. It was originally, it evolved from the hard mod culture, and there was a lot of influence. We adopted the dress of the West Indian immigrants, and we adopted their music, the ska, the skinhead reggae. So it was really largely based on black culture until the late 70s.
Isn't that ironic?
Get out of here. So you mean to tell me that you became a skinhead and now you're doing everything that was started by the black culture? Ain't that ironic?
What, the original skinheads were anti-immigrant.
Black blood, you white woman.
What? Wait a minute, wait one time. And let me point something else out here too. Notice that the seating arrangement has changed. Wendy didn't want to sit next to Catherine, and then Bob didn't want to sit, and they just switched all up here. Wendy, why didn't you want to sit next to Catherine?
I don't want to sit beside anybody that's a traitor, a race traitor.
A race traitor. Catherine, what do you say?
If I'm a white person, and I'm a normal, everyday white person, I don't agree with you. And yet, you believe that white people are the superior people, are the people who think straight. How can you justify the fact that I don't agree with what you're saying? I'm a race traitor, yet I'm your average, everyday white person.
Well,
white people are destroying our race.
Let Wendy answer, y'all. Wendy?
No, there is white people that's just as worse as the spics coming over the line.
Watch your language, watch your language, watch your language.
So what you're saying is you don't want a race, you don't want a world for white people. You
I'm
want
saying
a world
you look
for the
like a
small
person that would
minority.
breed with a black person. That's what I'm saying.
What do you say?
And I wouldn't want to sit beside of you. No.
Wait, what do you say?
You look like a person that would breed with a black person. And I'm not going to be beside of you.
My first question is for Jeff.
Jeff, question for you.
I just want to understand where you read this in the Bible about Jews being the seed of the devil.
Yes.
Because Jesus Christ was a Jew.
No, wrong.
And so was his mother.
Let me answer the question.
Okay.
I'll answer your question.
He was a Jew. Okay. And if you read the Bible, he was celebrating Passover, the Last Supper, which is a Jewish tradition. Okay.
No,
go quick.
All right. Revelations 2:9, John 8:44. The Jews are the synagogue of Satan. It says right so in the Bible.
And you say what, sir?
When you said before that you wouldn't accept black blood, when you go get suppose you're in the hospital and all this, it's not labeled white blood, black blood.
She said if I knew it was a black person's
wait a minute.
blood. Yeah, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. I've had it.
Oh, God bless.
These guys sitting right here, there is the reason why I got out of the Klan, because I don't want this to be my future.
So the Klan are about to fight the skinheads and the X-Clan. And of course, you know, if a big brawl jump out, then the black people are going to try to sneak some hits.
Your racist ways was because you didn't want to associate with people like these guys up here on the front row.
I didn't, because, you know, they claim to be the master race. Well, if that's the master race, I don't want to be a part of it. That's it, Rolonda. And I believe, now, what I am today is I defend my race. My race is the human race.
Yes.
I used to believe like these boys, but I did it out of ignorance and unbelief. And I asked people to forgive me for the way that I treated people and for ever associating with people like that. But I want to see them change. These are not bad people. These are misguided people.
What was it that made you get recruited in the first place and work your way up to the title of Imperial Wizard, that position you gave up and changed your ways, but what got you in there in the first place?
Because I needed attention. As a young man, I was looking to belong to something, and I wasn't getting attention at home, and I was looking to belong. I'd watched my father commit suicide. My mother was an alcoholic. I came from a broken home, and I needed somebody to come up and encourage me and tell me I could amount to something, and the Klan came along and said, we'll be a family to you.
Kind of just like that young lady who's a reporter for a teenage group. She says that it's the lack of attention, love that makes gangs, clans.
It could have been the Satanists, it could have been the gangs, it could have been anybody that gave me encouragement, and I would have went with them. And in this case, it was the Ku Klux.
Man, y'all let me know what y'all thought about this in the comments, man, because this joint is crazy.
Jerry, have you ever beaten up somebody just because they look different? Have you ever killed anybody because they look different? Have you ever hung anybody? It's called lynching because they look different. You can't answer that, sir?
I've done a lot of things in my lifetime.
Thank you.
Serve my white race.
Thank you,
and
sir.
I'm also saying this. Why, Ro? Why is this Three Stooges fella setting you up?
Because you're beating up and killing people, possibly. If you don't say no, we leave it up to supposition.
Why don't we doubt?
Tell you something, boy. You don't know me for a minute. Because you don't know me. You can't judge me, but you don't know. I got the power of 3 men in this house. Somebody as stupid as you, I couldn't dignify it. Because you don't know me for 3 seconds. You know that? You don't know me. You don't know me.
It's all wrong. We react with hate. That's not the way to do it, man.
And her secret surprise ex-KKK member from the back, he was supposed to change some people's minds, but he was a fluke. He ain't changed nobody's mind. If the baby say white power, I swear to God, I'm going to start busting out laughing and I'm going to run and I'm never going to do another reaction. If that baby say white power and put her hand up in the air, I swear to goodness, I'm gone.
The kids that you've turned around to see better, like you yourself claim you've done, what do you tell them that makes that click go off, that switch?
Well, what I like to tell people is something America can learn from. There was a crowd gathered on a street corner. There was a black man and a white man and a little Puerto Rican boy. The little Puerto Rican boy took up collection. The black man played a fiddle. The white man played the guitar. The white man didn't have any legs. The black man didn't have any eyes. You wonder how they got by. When they got ready to leave, the white man with no legs but had eyes climbed up on the shoulders of the black man who had legs but no eyes. The white man was eyes for the black man. The black man was legs for the white man. Without each other, they couldn't have gotten by. United we stand, divided we fall.
Well, we tried to divide the country and that didn't work. We had a civil war, it didn't work, north against south. And second of all, where does it say in the Bible that white people are supreme? And third of all, who are you to say where you're going to live and where the rest of the people are going to live?
I said if the government decided to and they split it, yes, I would move to be separate to ourselves.
What do you say?
I have a comment for this gentleman here. He said something about nigglets running around. If you were referring to black people or people in general as niggers, if you look it up in the dictionary, the definition for nigger is an ignorant person. And I think that's what you are.
She called the KKK man an N-word. look at his face. I think he's thinking about it right now. He's like, damn, maybe she right. What if I am a niglet? Look at his face. He's really wondering right now. Yes, you are, sir. Dang, you know what this gonna do now, right? Huh? Oh man. He don't like that. He's just now realizing that maybe I am. That's so funny. All right.
What your definition of a white person is?
What is the definition of a white person?
Someone of the white Aryan race. To be able to blush, to show color in the face.
I mean, I'm white, she's white, she's white, and I think you're very, very ignorant. And to those down there, I think you're very loud and obnoxious. That's what you are.
Well, we're glad to know what you think. This debate could go on and on and on. And you know something, folks? I best bet it will. And let this hour have this been, at least for many of us, an eye-opening experience. So many of us think that we live in a utopia in this grand nation. It is a grand nation, but we have a lot of work to do. Wendy, Bob, Jeff, and Grandpa, and the rest of the clan, I'm going to love you whether you change or not. I just hope that something will make a difference in your life. We will see you next time.
Yeah, that was the Rolonda show, man. I thought it was hilarious. Hopefully y'all did too. Yeah, I thought that was absolutely hilarious, and I'm not taking it back. And I hope y'all lasted up until this point, and then you watched it and you enjoyed it. But per usual, man, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I'm Van. Now we are all the LFR family, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Hopefully inside the Patreon. Y'all have been amazing, man. Love y'all.